Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited about today's menu, today's dish. From the picture you can see how lovely this bowl of oha soup looks. In fact, it's making my mouth water right now. So thank you so much, my subscribers, the returning ones. I'm grateful for always being here to support me. The new ones, please do subscribe. If today is the first time of watching my videos, please do subscribe and join the family. So we're going to jump right in and see how this delicious plate of oha soup was being prepared. Now, oha soup is a soup for those in the eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbos, so to say. But if you love good soup, you just love any good soup like me. So let's dive right in. Now, already on the fire, I had my pot of boiling fish and stockfish already boiling. And then here is the main man for the soup, which is our cocoyam. That we're going to use to thicken the soup. So there are two ways to prepare this. Either you wash it, either you peel the skin off before you boil, or you boil and after boiling you peel off the skin. That could be very hot, so if you're not used to it, I'll just advise you peel before you boil, and after that you blend or pound like I was doing. I pounded mine like you could see. So to the boiling pot of stockfish, and I didn't put my meat here then, stockfish and fish, I added the thickener. It's important to add it early so it will dissolve properly and give you a smooth look. You see the face at the end, and you saw the soup, it looked smooth. You wouldn't even know what was used in thickening the soup. So that's why it's important to put in your cocoyam, called ede in Igbo language. So you put that in very early while the fish and stockfish is still cooking. Now, and to that also, to the fish and the stockfish, so like I said, you put in enough cocoyam. Now, the measure of the cocoyam, you saw the quantity I used. I can't say use this or that. Now, it depends on the season. During some seasons, you have some cocoyams the cocoyams are not so good, and please, it's not every cocoyam you use. When you get to the market, ask them the one for cooking soup, because there's the bigger one that you can eat, just like you eat yam and other forms of tubers. But this is specially made for thickening. It can also be eaten, but the bigger one will not do the work. So this is the size you use. So to that, add your palm oil, also early enough. Some people add a little of this palm oil to the cocoyam while pounding, but this is fine. So you can see after some time it boiled, and this was what we got. I had to cut the video to avoid it being unnecessarily lengthy. So after adding the oil, just cover it, allow it to boil. See, it has boiled for some time, but all the cocoyam had not yet dissolved into the soup. So you keep boiling. That's adding crayfish, very important for African soup. Crayfish is a must add. So you add crayfish. Also, you need to add pepper. Now, I use this yellow pepper. It's always it has this nice fragrance, aroma. It adds to the food. I love them in soups, even stew. We use it to enhance the aroma. And now this is the main thing in this food. Now, you can't cook oha soup without what they call ugiri. Ugiri, I don't know what it's called in in English, but that's what I know it for, ogiri. Now this gives it the aroma that it's needed for you to know that, okay, this is oha soup I'm making. So it's like a seasoning, a traditional seasoning. So it's made, sometimes it comes wrapped in leaves. So that was the way it was being packaged before. Now this container is just like modernizing it. Sometimes I use much more than this because I do love the aroma, but you need to be careful so you don't overdo it, because not everyone loves it when it's too strong. So just use a minimal amount, like what you saw. I actually used everything. I used all of it. So you need to use ogiri okpe. Well, some people say they don't like the smell, but I do. And I don't see how you cook your soup without that. It won't come out like the soup wants. So if you want to achieve the soup, you need to put that in your cooking. So also you put that early enough, just like I did, so that it could boil and melt and dissolve. Now you still need to use seasoning cubes, so you won't say because if you used ogiri okpe, they both have different functions. So you still have to add your seasoning cubes to your soup. Now looking at this, looking at it now, you see that most of the cocoyam has not fully dissolved. So that's to tell you, and see how thick it is now. Now our soup is like light. It's supposed to be a light kind of soup, kind of like pepper soup. Not as watery as pepper soup, of course, but it's not supposed to be thick. It's not supposed to be thick like a goosey and the rest of the soup. So you make sure you do not allow it to be too thick. So for this cooking, this was too thick. So for me to get the consistency I needed, I had to add water, hot water. Please, whenever you want to add water to your soup, make sure it's hot water. Do not add cold water. So after it's cooked for some time, you see everything had melted, and now the true thickness of the soup had shown. So I had to add water to it and stir, leave it, cover it to still boil for some time. Now this is really boiling. So to this, at this point, I'll add the protein. For here I use pomo, goat meat, and I think I also use cow meat. So add your protein, whatever is your choice, but trust me, goat meat works well for this cooking. Goat meat is fantastic, and I love to have pomo just to chew as you eat. So goat meat works well for this soup. But of course, if you have beef, you could use it. If you have bush meat, what they call bush meat, you can use. Just feel free with the protein. But I wouldn't advise to use chicken and turkey. I feel when you want to enjoy something native, chicken and turkey is out of it. But of course, if that's what you can eat, that's the only protein you eat, feel free to use it. Just that, the flavor, the combination comes in differently for that. So that was me trying to get in all of my meat stock, nothing missing. Okay, so at this point our soup is close to being ready. Yes, so you can see the consistency we have here. It wasn't too thick, it wasn't too light, and so I allow it to boil. I just kept stirring to make sure the consistency was okay. So at this point, we'll add, the soup is ready. But when I tasted it, I felt it needed to have some more seasoning. Now, tasting is very important. When you're adding seasoning cubes, please make sure you do not overdo it. Now, how do you know you're overdoing? When the taste and the aroma of your seasoning cube stands out, that's a no. That means you've done too much. So you can see for this pot of soup, I use about 3 cubes besides the the one I use in seasoning the meat, of course. So just 3 cubes, so that you don't do too much. That was me adding some more proteins, so that not everyone in my house eats goat meat, so I just needed to have beef, so that at least everyone has what to take. So that's it. So at this point, the soup, if you look at it, is almost done, but of course something is missing, and that's where the name came from. The name of the soup is oha soup. So of course without the oha leaf, the soup is not ready. So we're going to make sure the pot boils well before we add the oha leaf. And trust me, oha leaf is very, very tender. Already I had cleaned it off camera. I just plucked it, as in I didn't use knife to cut it. You don't use knife to cut oha leaf, from what I know. Please put in the comment section if you use knife, because all I know is I tear it into pieces before using it. So it's been done. Sorry I didn't share that with you. It was already done. So you can see, before you put your vegetable, make sure your soup is boiling properly, so that immediately you put in your vegetable, you put down, stir it, and then you turn off the gas. So that's the oha that it's been washed and shredded with my fingers, because the leaf is very tender. So I like to put a lot of it, so enjoy it when it's still fresh. So I put so much. Some people might say it's too much, but that's the way I like. I love vegetables, so I put a lot of it into the soup. Stir it. Once you're done putting everything and stirring it, it doesn't need too much cooking. It doesn't even need cooking. The heat of the pot, remember our pot was boiling super well, super hot, so that heat is enough to just heat up the vegetable, and then our soup is ready to be eaten. But because I had a lot of vegetable, I just had to keep putting until everything was done. In fact, at the point I wanted to stop, but I said no, because you know the funny thing is that within a short time you would be wondering where all the vegetable went, because it's so tender, it melts into the soup. So trust me, except you know a lover of vegetable like me, it can never be too much for me. This wasn't too much at all, and I must tell you, this soup was delicious, finger licking soup. So tell me, will you try this? Please like, share, and subscribe. If you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? If you gained 1 or 2 knowledge, please give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and invite them to join our channel. Thank you. See you in my next one. Bye.